Welcome to Timeless Chronicles. Explore history. In 1961, Michael Rockefeller vanished forever off the coast of a remote island. Enjoy this video. A boat accident led him to a fateful decision. While sailing to several different coastal villages to gather Asmat art for his collection, the small catamaran Rockefeller was traveling and capsized. The two native teens who were on board immediately swam for shore to get help, but Rockefeller and his companion, a Dutch anthropologist, stayed with the boat. A Dutch missionary claims several tribe members confessed to killing Rockefeller. A Dutch priest named Hubertus van Pai was living as a missionary in Asmat at the time of Rockefeller's disappearance. He claimed that one day, four men from the surrounding villages came to him with a confession. They said that while on a trading trip, a group of local men spotted Rockefeller swimming to shore. A brutal attack by the Dutch colonists set the stage for Rockefeller's disappearance. In 1957, 4 years before Rockefeller disappeared, there was a brutal mutual raid among the Asmat. Two villages, neighboring and longtime enemies, Otsjanep and Omadasep, led attacks on one another, in which over 100 people were killed. The Dutch colonial controller of New Guinea at the time, Max Lepre, decided that things had gone too far and he needed to teach the Asmat a lesson. The Dutch government chose not to believe testimony. Two Dutch missionaries that had been living among the Asmat in the years leading up to and following Rockefeller's death came to the Dutch government with testimony as to how he died. They had both been told by villagers that a group of Asmat men had killed Rockefeller, and they knew the local language well enough to know exactly what the men were telling them. The Rockefellers used every resource they could to locate Michael, with no success. As soon as they learned of their son's disappearance, Michael's father and twin sister chartered a plane and were on their way to New Guinea. They were only able to make it to the town of Merauke, 150 miles southeast of Asmat, due to the untamed, undeveloped nature of the country. At the time of Rockefeller's disappearance, Papua New Guinea was one of the few untrammeled places on Earth described by Carl Hoffman in his book, Savage Harvest, a tale of cannibals, colonialism, and Michael Rockefeller's tragic quest for primitive art. The island of New Guinea was one of the few truly wild and untouched places left on Earth. Michael was encouraged to become a collector of primitive art by his father Nelson Rockefeller. Michael's father opened the Museum of Primitive Art in New York City. The term primitive art was the condescending term for non-Western art at the time. The collection of carvings and sculptures from New Guinea, Nigeria, and the ancient Aztecs and Mayans was later absorbed by the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which Michael's mother had helped found. Rockefeller didn't fit the rich boy stereotype. Carl Heir, a Harvard grad student in anthropology who shared a tent with Rockefeller on the 1961 trip to New Guinea, reported that he was very quiet and very modest. Heir was also very surprised that Michael, heir to a massive fortune, spent his time in the evenings darning his own socks. The young Rockefeller was often referred to as a quiet and artistic person, and he was too restless to be satisfied with carrying on the legacy of his father's company. The wildlife of New Guinea was possibly more dangerous than headhunters. The island of New Guinea is home to some pretty fearsome creatures. Forget the poisonous reptiles on land. The animals that can be found in the ocean are terrifying enough, and there is a chance that Rockefeller may have encountered some of them during his desperate swim for the shoreline. The lives of the Asmat people revolved heavily around the spirit world. The Asmat people had a very different take on how the world works than Westerners. They believe that spirits dictate just about everything in their lives. The Asmat believed the land beyond their island to be inhabited by spirits, and when white people came from across the sea, they saw them as some kind of supernatural beings. Video evidence seems to suggest that Rockefeller was actually hiding among the Asmat people. One of the many theories surround Rockefeller's disappearance was that he had simply given up his privileged life in New York to live among the Asmat in New Guinea.